You think you are depressed because something is wrong with you. That is the lie. And by the end of this video, you will never think about your own mind the same way again. Right now, somewhere in the world, 1 in 5 people are clinically depressed. Not sad, not tired, depressed. Unable to get out of bed, unable to feel anything, unable to explain to the people who love them why a perfectly comfortable life feels like drowning. And the answer that modern medicine gives them is this: your brain chemistry is off. Here is a pill. Come back in 6 weeks. But here is the question nobody is asking. If depression is a malfunction, why does every single human brain on Earth come preloaded with the ability to produce it? Why did evolution, a process that ruthlessly eliminates anything that reduces survival, keep this thing for 200,000 years? Across every culture, every continent, every civilization. Evolution does not make mistakes for 200,000 years. So what if depression is not the malfunction? What if you are? Go back. 200,000 years ago. Your ancestors are living in groups of roughly 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar at Oxford University spent decades studying this number. It appears everywhere. Ancient hunter-gatherer bands, Roman military units, the average person's genuine social circle today. 150 is not a coincidence. It is the maximum number of meaningful relationships the human brain can physically maintain. Your brain was not built for a city. It was built for a village. 150 faces, 150 names, 150 people who would notice if you did not come home. In that village, belonging was not a comfort. It was oxygen. You needed people to hunt with you, to share food with you, to fight beside you when the predators came at night, to hold your children while you slept. Being removed from that group was not social embarrassment. It was a biological death sentence. Isolation did not feel lonely. It felt like dying, because for 200,000 years it was. And here is where this story takes the turn that nobody saw coming. Psychologist Paul Andrews at McMaster University published research that made the psychiatric community deeply uncomfortable. He looked at every symptom of depression, not through the lens of disease, through the lens of function. And what he found should change everything about how you see yourself. Depression withdraws you from social activity. It kills your appetite. It destroys your sleep. It locks your attention onto a single problem with a grip that nothing can break. It shuts down your interest in pleasure, in distraction, in anything that would pull your mind away from what has gone wrong. Now, here is the conflict. Here is the thing that breaks the story open. Every single one of those symptoms sounds like torture. And in 2026, inside an apartment, staring at a ceiling at 3 a.m. It is. But put that exact same set of symptoms into a body living 200,000 years ago, and every single one of them becomes a survival tool so precise, it is almost frightening. Your bond with the most important hunter in your group has broken down. Depression locks your brain onto that problem, will not release you, will not let you sleep until you have turned it over from every angle and found a solution. Your status in the village has collapsed. Depression pulls you back from further social risk while your brain quietly recalibrates. Someone you depended on for survival has died. Depression reroutes every cognitive resource you have toward rebuilding what was lost. Researcher Edward Hagen at Washington State University called this the analytical rumination hypothesis. The name is clinical. The idea is devastating. Depression evolved because obsessive, sustained, painful focus on a specific social problem dramatically increased the chances of solving it. The low mood was not the illness. The low mood was the instrument. The pain was not a side effect. The pain was the point. Your brain was designed to hurt until the problem was fixed. Now here is the part that changes everything. Here is the comeback. 200,000 years ago, the system worked. Because the problem was always small enough to solve. The broken bond could be repaired. The lost status could be reclaimed. The grief could be witnessed by 150 people who were physically in the room with you, who held your body while you shook, who fed you and kept watch while your brain did the brutal work of adaptation. The depression had an exit door, and that exit door had a name: community. The village was the antidepressant, and they took it away. Remove the 150 faces. Replace them with 4 billion strangers on a screen. Remove the physical presence of people who know your history. Replace them with text messages and reaction emojis that disappear in 24 hours. Remove the solvable social problem. Replace it with a diffuse, sourceless, overwhelming sense that something is wrong, but you cannot name what it is or point to who could fix it. Remove the communal grief ritual. Replace it with a private room and a referral to a specialist with a 6-week waiting list. And now your ancient survival program is running in an environment it was never designed for. The signal fires, but there is no clear problem to solve. The inward focus locks on, but there is no village to return to. The system that was built to run for days, just long enough to repair a critical social bond, runs for months, for years, for a lifetime, with no exit door. Psychiatrist Randolph Nesse at Arizona State University calls this the smoke detector problem. Your brain's depression system is like a fire alarm. It is not designed to be accurate, it is designed to be sensitive. Because the cost of missing one real fire is death, and 1,000 false alarms are worth that price. But now, you are living in a world so saturated with social smoke signals, so full of ambient rejection and invisible comparison and low-grade disconnection that the alarm never stops screaming. And you have started to believe that the alarm itself is the disease. It is not. The alarm is working perfectly. The building is the problem. Now watch what happens when you look at cultures that never dismantled the village. The Amish, and stay with this, because it is going to feel counterintuitive, report rates of clinical depression that are a fraction of the rates found in surrounding American populations. Not because their lives are easier. By material standards, their lives are significantly harder. But because failure, grief, and social rupture in Amish communities are witnessed events. The individual is never left to process collapse alone. The village absorbs the weight. Among the Kaluli people of Papua New Guinea, studied by Edward Schieffelin across 2 decades of fieldwork in the 1970s and 1980s, clinical depression as a syndrome was essentially absent. Their lives were not painless. They experienced loss, conflict, disease, death. But none of it was private. Every fracture in the social fabric was repaired collectively. The individual brain never had to carry the full weight of breakdown alone. The variable is not wealth. It is not medication. It is not access to healthcare. The variable, the single consistent variable across every low depression population on Earth, is the presence of sustained, physical, witnessed human community. Hippocrates understood this 2,400 years ago. He called it melancholia. His treatment was not isolation. It was not silence. He prescribed light, movement, music, the physical company of other human beings. He had no neuroscience. He had no clinical trials. But he had watched enough humans to understand what every modern study is now confirming with data. Depression is a social wound, and social wounds require a social cure. Seneca wrote 2,000 years ago that the fastest way to destroy a man is to leave him alone with his thoughts and no purpose. He watched enough people collapse into themselves to know that the mind without community does not grow stronger in isolation. It turns on itself, and it does not stop until something from the outside world breaks through. Here is what you need to hear right now. You are not broken. You are ancient. You are carrying a piece of biological software that is 200,000 years old, running inside a world that was deliberately designed to make that software crash. Every time you reach for your phone at 2 a.m., every hollow feeling you get after hours online, surrounded by people who do not actually know you. Every morning, you wake up exhausted by something you cannot name. That is not weakness. That is your brain sending the exact signal it has always sent. Return to the group. Repair the bond. You cannot do this alone. The difference now is that the group is everywhere and nowhere at the same time, and the bond is always just slightly out of reach. So what do you do with that? You stop treating the alarm like the disease. You stop pathologizing the signal and start asking what the signal is pointing at. You ask honestly, where is my village? Who are my 150? When did I last let someone actually witness something real in me? And then you move toward that. Not perfectly, not all at once, but you move because your ancestors did not survive 200,000 years of darkness by fixing themselves in isolation. They survived by finding each other. And if this video made something shift in you, even slightly, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Because that is the village starting to rebuild itself, one connection at a time. Subscribe if you want to keep going deeper into the hidden forces running your life beneath the surface. There is a lot more where this came from. You have known the answer for 200,000 years. You just forgot where to look.